By the light of the sun, by the depth of the moon, by the flame of the wand, by the pentacle of earth, I call upon the guides of wisdom, the ancestors of the craft, and the holy guardian angel. Guide us now through the stations of the dove and serpent, reveal what is hidden, that we may transform it into light. Hello, Aquarius. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. Today we walk the path of the Dove and Serpent spread, an 11-fold journey of transformation. Each position reveals a unique aspect of your journey, alternating between the essence of your being and the events that help to shape your destiny. Remember to hit the like button and consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Aquarius, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And here we have the Eight of Wands. The first position in the spread is called the station. And this reveals your sense of self, your essential personality, or kind of the inner thing that's going on with you, right? It's the Eight of Wands. It's a card of swiftness. And this sometimes is our preoccupation. It's kind of how we feel, or it's what our reality is when we close our eyes at night. And this is kind of a card of like some pent-up energy, right? It's kind of the emotional tone. This is sometimes like our core energy, really our personal style, maybe right now. And it kind of feels like there's a lot of excitement in you. It feels that we're really jazzed up about something. It kind of feels a little bit like anxiety, like we got the jazz hands a little bit, that we're anticipating something. We're ready to make a move. We're ready to go forward. We are ready to to start something. We're ready to stop waiting. Yeah, because it kind of feels like something's holding us back and we're getting kind of antsy. We're over here like tap dancing on the shag carpet, you know? Sometimes this card is about a lot of different options, a lot of things going on at once, and we're kind of being pulled in a lot of different directions, right? So it could be that we're feeling that kind of anxiety because maybe we're feeling exhausted. We're feeling maybe that we're spread too thin. Okay, this is a lot of pathways that are open for you right now. This is the card of creative problem solving. Okay, so we have to kind of ask with this card, where is your attention fixed? And this is kind of the card that's saying, my attention, I'm having a hard time fixing it on anything, right? That we're trying to pay attention to too many things at once. And we might be experiencing a world that lacks depth, that lacks meaning, that lacks direction, because we're having a hard time fixing our attention on any particular thing, okay? And so then we kind of feel as if our attention is being pulled in too many directions at once, and it's very hard to focus. It's very hard to concentrate right now. Okay, maybe when we close our eyes at night, it's kind of like I don't know which direction to go. That I'm never able to like follow one train of thought because there's so many thoughts going on. I'm not able to follow one particular course of action because I get distracted by other kind of equally viable options. There are just too many pathways here. Okay, there are too many ways that we could be traveling. We can't travel in every direction at once. You can't go forward and backward at the same time. So we need some context here. We've got to see what is going on and what choices we're making and what our week might be like. All right. So we have an Eight of Pentacles. That's very good. We have an 8 and an 8. Here we have a Queen of Wands. We have a Knight of Pentacles. We have a 6 of Pentacles. We have a Hanged Man. On the path of the Serpent, we have a 10 of Cups. Very nice. We have a 6 of Swords. We have the Hierophant. And we have a 7 of Pentacles. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it down over here with Tiny Bob Ross right on top. We're not going to look at that happy little card until the very end. But it will tie everything together. It will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any moment during this message you feel like you might know what that card could be, put your prediction in the comments down below. Okay? Now, as we look around the room, we see two major arcana energies. We see the Hanged Man and the Hierophant. Okay? I think that the Hierophant in this case, because this is the position of our fear, worry, and concern, we're afraid to sort of specialize in something, you know? It's kind of like we're worried about any particular path we get on is limiting us to all the other paths that we could have been, on. So I become one particular type of person. I become an expert, let's say, at marine biology. That means that I can't be an expert in, geology or astronomy or other subjects, philosophy, history, literature. And I think that Eight of Wands is showing that you have so many interests and so many loves and so many passions, so many possible paths for you, so many things you're good at, so many potentialities. It's very hard to specialize in just one. This is the problem with somebody going to university, and they feel like they're expected to find one major and become that person and specialize, become the expert in one thing. But it's difficult for somebody like you who has so many different interests. So you might be more a liberal arts kind of thing, But the Hanged Man is kind of, to me, it feels like we're accepting something, that we are accepting our true nature, maybe, right? We're accepting that maybe I'm not meant to specialize in one thing, but maybe I'm meant to have a very broad and well-rounded knowledge of things so that I can, move forward into whatever that energy is. Maybe this is you realizing that, you're meant to be a teacher or a holder of wisdom, a transmitter of wisdom, not necessarily a specialist, an expert in any one particular field. Maybe it's you're supposed to, collect as much knowledge and experience as you can. Yeah, a possibility anyway. We'll talk about it more. We've got fire, we've got water, got a little bit of air, and we've got earth. So it really is about what you're doing with your physical life right now, okay? The second position is the battle position. This is the task or the quest, the field of conflict and challenge right now, where we're sort of, we're finding it challenging and difficult to slow down and cultivate something in particular. When we have an Eight of Wands, nothing's really, our attention is split in so many different directions that nothing is getting the attention that it really needs. This is now us paying attention to those things that matter, right? So we're slowing down. This is kind of like life right now is requiring your patience, okay? We're trying to cultivate and grow ourselves into who we're meant to be, your own kind of version of the Hierophant, your own maturity and wisdom in life. And we're trying to cultivate that. We're trying to grow in wisdom. We're trying to grow in knowledge and experience, okay? So this is something that's testing your ability to focus. Yeah. And the thing about this card is that it's an 8 as well, just like the Eight of Wands, right? So this is kind of showing that we don't have to limit ourselves to just one specialized pathway, but we need to understand how to utilize our power of attention, our fire energy, our will, our creative energy, in order to actually cultivate something. So between these two cards, we have a couple of possibilities. One is that the energy or the attention needed to succeed at one thing is being dissipated by too many things. Okay, so that because we're splitting ourselves up into so many parts, we're not giving adequate attention to any one of those parts. It's like you have a very little bit of water, right? What plant are you going to water? You can say, okay, well, I've got 1 cup of water. I can give a little drop to every plant, but it's not enough to save any of those plants. Or I can kind of give half a cup here, half a cup there. So it's kind of that process of selection, of prioritizing, of sacrificing some things for other things. Otherwise, nothing's going to survive, okay? So, you might be a person that really wants to do a million things with your life, but the splitting up of your attention between a million things means that none of those things, not one of those things, will get the attention that it needs to actually thrive, And so we might have to make some sacrifices here. And so the challenge is for you to figure out what plants or what crops really should take priority here, which ones you really need to grow. right now, and which ones can maybe take a back seat, which ones can be perhaps sacrificed for later. Okay. And so this is where we're being asked to make some choices. Okay. And this is where we're being called upon to have courage and to really, to grow and mature in a way. Now, the card beneath the surface is position 3, and this is your soul, right? This is part of your character. It's a Queen of Wands. It's very ambitious. This is sometimes an unconscious drive. It's a hidden part of ourselves, something beneath the persona, beneath the threshold of consciousness, right? Beneath the surface. And this is a very ambitious card. This is a card that I think wants to apply their energy to something that is meaningful. Okay, because this is a card that enjoys doing something for its own sake. This energy has a purpose, a built-in purpose. It's not goal-oriented necessarily. It's saying that I want to do something that feels good to do it. Not because, well, I guess if I become a lawyer, then I'll get a lot of money and my life will be, I'll reach the goals I want to get. I'll be happy at some point. But I don't necessarily like being a lawyer, right? This is somebody that wants to be what they are. I want to be the painter who paints, not the painter who practices law. Or I want to be the lawyer who lawyers, not the lawyer that paints, So it's about really being true to who we are, and that's kind of where here we have that card of acceptance. We're accepting our true nature, and we're realizing that sometimes what our passions are, they're not always what's practical. And this card is that unconscious drive in you, that concealed part of you that is seeking expression. Who are you when nobody's looking, right? What is it that you really want to do? What do you feel like is in your nature that says, I'm the painter who needs to paint? I'm not the painter that needs to be the lawyer. And so this isn't necessarily about, well, I guess then I can't be the lawyer. I've got to just be the painter. Because maybe the lawyer path, for instance, or that maybe it's a teacher, maybe that teacher path really is going to be very practical and productive for you, but your passion is really in doing the other thing. Perhaps this is really we have the Hierophant, remember, this kind of the teacher. Maybe this is that conflict between doing and teaching. Why not do both? Be the Indiana Jones of your own life, right? The professor of archaeology, but also the world-traveling adventurer, all the fortune and glory, yeah? Why not be both? Okay? And so I think that we have to kind of prioritize things. We can't do everything we want to do, but maybe we can find something in life that we want to do for its own sake. I want to be the adventurer who adventures, the painter that paints, the drummer that drums, the cook that cooks, the writer who writes, the dancer who dances, whatever it might be. Something that we want to do because that's where our passion lies. At the same time, maybe we need to also have the thing that we can do that will feed the other thing. All this experience will feed your Hierophant work, whether it's teaching or whether it's doing the more practical career or life job thing. That's going to feed your passion too. So they work both ways. They can be really interconnected. Okay? And so this is that hidden desire, right? This is kind of the feeling inside of you that wants to shape your destiny. This is that part of you that's seeking expression. And we have to ask, how am I going to honor this? It's not always the practical thing. See, this is earth and earth. This is fire and fire. So it's kind of like do one thing that gives you this passion and feels like it is fulfilling your soul, and then also do the practical thing that's going to allow you to kind of grow into a successful and a practical life, right? Material success, and then of course that kind of soul satisfaction that we get with the fire energy. So I like that we have this balance, between this is a Taurus energy, it's an earth card. We got earth, and then we have fire over here. So I think in a lot of ways this is about us taking our creative energy and manifesting a life of growth, cultivating a really successful life here. Of course, we have the card of success up here. And I think that is a combination of doing something that can make money and support us physically, but doing something that has passion and makes us feel creative, and it feels like, okay, now I'm the dancer who's dancing. following the path with heart, right? And there's no rule that says those paths have to be the same. Very often, you have a job that pays the bills and you're ambitious over there, but you also have this other interest, or this consuming, burning passion that maybe means more to you. Not necessarily means more. It means something different, right? Your practical job that you do for money means a lot to you. So does your passionate life's work. I don't even want to call it a hobby, right? It's the vocation, it's the calling, it's the dance, it's the writer who writes, the painter who paints, whatever. Both of those paths are equally valuable for different reasons. And we love them both and we need them both, but for different reasons. Now, if you're one of the lucky ones that can have one thing that both pays the bills and fulfills your passion, then cheers, right? It doesn't always work that way. And I think very often we get stuck in that idea that it's got to be one thing. Well, very often your passions will change, or what you do for money will change. So we may have a temporary convergence of practicality and passion, and that may be a nice crescendo. But then those paths will diverge again, and maybe what we do for money will change, and what our passions will change. This is the card of that kind of perfection, where passion and practicality come together in one amazing moment in time. And maybe this lasts for many years. Maybe it eventually it starts to diverge, right? And that's okay. The fourth card is the dwarf. It uncovers the past influences and some sort of inertia, right? Some events that might be shaping your current situation. It's the Knight of Pentacles. It's the card of looking into the future. And this is kind of something that's still affecting you. It's something from the past that's echoing in your present. And I feel like this is the old vision we had of what life was supposed to look like. Maybe we were taught that, to be successful, you've got to just go to school and get a good job and then raise a family, and that's life, right? Maybe we were taught that life was supposed to have a certain path, a certain trajectory. But maybe now there's this conflict between your practicality and your passion that say, this old vision now doesn't work for me anymore. This is a kind of an antiquated trajectory that, maybe this is what your parents did, or your parents' parents, right? The older generations maybe lived this way or something, and maybe we're thinking like the path I'm on now is going to be different than the path of my parents. Maybe we're looking at our parents and think, yeah, they were successful, but at what cost? They didn't have passion or love. They didn't have anything that really meant anything to them. They just had their work, and then that's kind of where they tried to find the fulfillment that they could. And that was life, the silent sufferer, right? And maybe we're saying, well, I don't want to live that way. I see a different future for myself here. Maybe we don't know what that future is, but we realize that our path is different than either what it used to be or what the previous generation's path was. Okay? And I say that maybe we can't see the goal because, of course, we have our Seven of Pentacles in the final outcome position. Yeah? Which is telling me that we don't know how this road will end. If you look at the Knight of Pentacles, you can't see the top of the mountain, can you? By the way, I've moved the microphone. I don't know if it sounds any better being down here, but I'm trying something new. So let me know how it sounds. The Knight of Pentacles can't see the top of the mountain. And so this is really telling me that I don't know what the final outcome is going to be. I don't know what the long term really is going to look like. But I do know that at some points along the way, I'll have these nice plateaus. I'll see a lot of peaks. I'll see a lot of convergence of things in my life. And so these are those magical moments on the journey. It doesn't matter really where it ends up ultimately at the end. Like when we come sliding into home base, when we're 150 years old, and we come sliding into the finish line. It doesn't really matter what it looks like. What matters is that we've had as many of these peak experiences as we could. Moments where practicality and passion converge. Yeah. And I think that this is really, these are those memories along the way as we're climbing the mountain of life. These are those places we remember. Yeah. So now this is kind of asking us, like, where this old vision of the future, where is this still influencing us? Where is this still holding sway for us, where we feel like we have to have one major in university, get one job and one life and one path, and that's it until I come slowly wandering into the home base? No, I want to come sliding into home at the end of my life, not just kind of like boring walking, just kind of saying, finally, I want to slide into home base, and so we have to ask where this old vision of life is still influencing our current choices or our trajectory at this time. Okay. Now, the next card, like we said, is the Giant, right? This is the position 5. It's part of your character. It's really a driving force. It's something that really is motivating you. It's your personal virtue. It's a card of success. It's a creative impulse. It's like my version of success is about me, having those moments of life where I feel like I'm in the flow, where my life is in alignment. Those rare occasions where we feel like, in this moment, everything's perfect. In this moment, everything's in alignment. My practical life and my passionate life are both here right now, whether this means one path or whether this is just like work's going good and I get time to paint my picture, or maybe your passion is parenting or animals or raising crops or pressing flowers. It doesn't matter. But that moment, those realizations, just in any given moment that, hey, I'm doing my will, I'm living my life, I'm expressing myself in every way that I can, and it feels successful. This is like a beautiful, radiant moment when we're in the flow. And this, I think, is kind of propelling us forward. We want days like this. It doesn't matter how it ends up ultimately. See, the Knight of Pentacles is looking at the 10. And what we know about the 10 of Pentacles is that it's open-ended for one. It's infinite. It's not limited to just 10 pentacles. It's an unlimited number of something, okay? So there really is no perfection. There is no ideal necessarily, but it's also telling us that whatever goals we have, whatever our vision of our life, who we are, where we are, what we're doing in the future, that's going to change over time. Okay, that's every choice we make is changing that 10 of Pentacles, the details of our lives in the future, just like that photograph in Back to the Future. Everything Marty did would change that picture a little bit. And so instead of focusing on that end goal, we're kind of focusing on these more medium-term goals. Short-term, medium-term. It's like I want to have days like this. I want to have days where I feel like life is good, life is perfect in this moment. I've got my passion and my practicality. Things feel like they're in alignment. It's a good, harmonious time. Sometimes these moments last for only a few seconds, sometimes for a few years, and then things might diverge again. Okay, but we're always going to pursue that practical, physical success, and of course the spiritual and passion kind of pathway too. And so this empowers us to move ahead, and the strength that we need here is the strength to really to succeed at life, and whatever that means for us, in whatever realm this is. We want to have something that pays the bills, but we want to make sure that that income we have is also serving our passion. Okay, it's no use to have a whole bunch of money, but then you're not enjoying your life. So we get the money, we use the money so that you can paint more pictures, or you can travel, or you can do the family stuff if it's parenting, or you can play golf, or whatever your passion is, right? It's kind of the why we get the money, And so, this I think is, this is about us, really being motivated by these moments where everything feels like it's in place. Yeah. Now the future position is very interesting. This is position 6, the Imago. The next step for you, the immediate the immediate step, the immediate consequences of your action, right? The shape of things to come is about you accepting your true nature. Okay, the Hanged Man is a card of sacrifice and acceptance. So first, accepting the necessity of having a practical life, accepting the need to have a passionate life, right? Whatever your calling or your vocation or your art or your, whatever that is, right? Whether it's parenting or stamp collecting or cooking or dancing or writing or anything, really, literally, right? That fires you up. Anything that you want to do just to do it. Accepting those realities, accepting life as it is. This is the reality of my life. These are the things that I need to have in my life. So by accepting ourselves, we're accepting the need to prioritize things. And then prioritizing things leads to the sacrifice. Sacrificing those things that are not of priority. Those things that, like, maybe I want to have more of my passion in life. Okay, well, maybe I need to figure out, do I need to have less of the practical goals so I can have more of the passionate goals? And how is there a trade-off? How do I have to sacrifice one for the other? Or do I? Maybe it's saying I want to have an intense and rich, passionate life. Maybe it means I got to work harder on my practical life so that I can feed that passionate life. Okay, so we're kind of getting that motivation. We're expanding and we're growing. And I think that the sacrifice here is it comes from those priorities. If we know what our priorities are, we know what we need to sacrifice in honor of those priorities. Okay? So this kind of sacrifice, how does this align with your goals? Because the question becomes, am I sacrificing my passion for the sake of my practical life? And is that really serving our highest good? Am I sacrificing my practical life in order to pursue my passion? Okay? And am I okay with that? Because, we kind of have this starving artist vibe here, right? That I don't care about having a job and making money. I'll live on the street if I have to, as long as I can paint, as long as I play the drums, right? That's all that matters to me, and that's fine. In fact, I've known people like that, that choose to not even have an income at all, not even worry about money at all, because they have something else that they're pursuing in life that means more to them. Okay, and eventually, for the person I'm thinking about, their paths converged again, where they were able to then earn a living doing what they were passionate about. Okay, but it didn't happen right away. Okay, so one path is not better than the other, right? We have to ask what is important to us and what are we willing to sacrifice. Do we need to sacrifice one for the other? And if so, how's that going to look? And if not, how's that going to look, right? I got to work harder to earn more money so I can fuel that passion, or that job's getting in the way of me doing my passion, or that passion's getting in the way of me doing my job, etc. So it's all about looking at things by those different angles so we understand what our choices need to be based on what choices will guide us to the life that we really seek, to lead us to those peak experiences where we're living the life we want to live. Yeah. Now, Path of the Serpent, let's talk about these cards. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. And if there is anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, we have here position 7, the persona. This shows your public mask, the social face you wear, the costume you wear in the greater theater of life. It's a card of contentment. Okay, this is how we present ourselves to the world, and this is sometimes an energy that is overwhelmed with a sense of purpose. It's like we feel so much purpose and so much meaning and richness of life that it kind of gives us the anxiety, right? It's almost too much, and I think that this is in some way requiring a little bit of a sacrifice, because we get overwhelmed with the potentials for our ideal life. There's so many. I have so much potential in me. Again, it's the 10. There's no limit, right? So this is the feeling of satiety, of how full we can get. There is no contentment. We can be contented for a moment, but as much as you eat at the buffet, you will be hungry again soon, I guarantee it. It's kind of the joke about buffets, right? You'll eat everything, you'll be hungry in 20 minutes. And so it happens that way with contentment. There is no ultimate final state of contentment. It's saying, I'm content with what I have now, but very soon I'm going to get used to this. And it's not going to feel like enough because I realize that my capacity has gotten bigger. And so that leaves some empty space. And so now I need to go and I need to get more cups, to be more contented. And so we might have this persona of like, life is fine the way it is. I have everything that I need. We try to count our blessings. We try to say, I'm so full, I don't need to eat anything else ever again. I will never need food in my lifetime, right? But I think that this is us kind of denying that, no, you know what? I'm hungry for something. This is a card of hunger. These two cards are incompatible. Fundamentally speaking, the Queen of Wands does not like the Ten of Cups because it extinguishes the fire. And the presence of the fire negates the Ten of Cups. They're saying there's no way that I can be contented right now. I can't be satiated if I'm hungry. It's a paradox. They're mutually exclusive, right? We can't be full and hungry at the same time, right? At least physically, I guess. But what we can be is we can have this persona of counting our blessings and being contented with life and being sort of, being satiated, feeling as if there is no need for anything else. I don't need anything in this moment. I don't need anything more. I don't have an appetite. I'm not hungry for anything. And at the same time, we can still say, I'm hungry to continue, growing and cultivating my life and doing the things in my life that I want to do. So spiritually speaking, we can have fullness and hunger at the same time. But I kind of think that it sort of comes in waves, like that Six of Pentacles, where we feel that contentment in the moment because we're living the life we're supposed to live. It's very dynamic, while this card looks static. It's not really a static card because this is a card that's always growing. And whenever you get a 10 of Cups, it's like, okay, you got 11, now you got 12, now you got 20, now you got 1,000. It's sort of the moving goalpost emotionally, right? As good as I feel, I know that I have to continue doing the right kind of work because that good feeling, that perfect feeling I have is temporary. That perfect feeling I have is going to go away if I don't maintain it somehow. So it requires constant activity, But at the same time, we do have those moments where life is perfect. I don't need anything. I'm not hungry for anything. I'm existing in my life as it is now, and I feel peaceful. I feel contentment and love. I feel blessed, And then, of course, we got to get up in the morning and get back at it. Do our practical and passionate activities. And then we'll feel this again. Yeah. But as a persona, it might be us hiding behind a mask that kind of says, I don't need anything, I'm fine, I'm not hungry. It's like that person when you take them out to dinner and they say, oh no, I'm not hungry, but they are, right? And it's kind of saying like, look, just eat. Just admit that you want more, you want to continue with life, and just admit that you want to live, and that we want to pursue either the passionate or the practical. I think this is about you honoring the passionate, but not rejecting the practical. Okay. Now, the position 8 is the shadow, uncovers the hidden events or influences in your environment, circumstances that test you by stirring up what you deny or what you repress. And this position is very intimately connected with this position, because this is your internal nature. This is the external event. Okay. So this is something that's orderly and structured. There's a plan. Kind of sort of the plan we had back here. And yet there is this burning desire in you that is not compatible with the plan so much. And so it really is, it's kind of like saying, I can't deny who I really am, even though it feels like it's kind of going against the system or the organization or the order that I have in my life. So it's kind of like, in a way, we push this away a little bit because it's sort of disrupting it's disrupting a little bit of the harmony or the order that we've established. It's sort of this is the plan, right? This is like the driving directions. Okay, I'm driving from New York to San Francisco, right? Going back west now, going the other way, and this is the driving directions. But then somewhere along the way, you kind of get this desire to go see that biggest ball of yarn somewhere in whatever state it's in, right? So it's kind of like, I want to do this, I feel this, but then there's that rational part of you that says, it's not part of the plan. It's not on the itinerary. So we either deny this, or the mind has to deal with the disruption of, now I've got to recalculate the route. I've got to now I got to redo the timetables. I got to call the hotel or whatever. I got to figure out where I'm going to get gas now. It's like, thanks a lot, passion, because you've interrupted my practical life, And so, that's kind of the challenge. These external things are sort of, and maybe we look at this as being too orderly, too predictable, too much of a plan. I don't want the driving directions all the time. I want some sort of passion. I want some sort of unpredictability. Yeah. So something in your environment is sort of pushing you to grow. And to me, this feels like, when things become too orderly, a restless heart is gonna, let's do a little practical joke. Let's do something to let's put some firecrackers under the desk or something. Just something for a little bit of something else, And of course, that's kind of the challenge that we see with the Eight of Pentacles too, because this is routine. This is like things are too calm, things are too patient, things are just like every day is the same kind of thing. We have this spark of passion in us that wants to do something else. Maybe we should try to find the balance in a way, right? The ninth position is the Spectre. It's a character card. It shows your fears, anxieties, hidden worries, your concerns, right? Parts of ourself that are kind of challenging our growth again. And this is the inner dread that we dread becoming just the person that teaches, but not the person that does. We don't want to just be the professor. We want to be Indiana Jones too, not just Dr. Jones, professor of archaeology, right? And so we're kind of scared of just like living a life that is just practical only. This is a very fixed earth energy. It's saying, I'm just scared that I'm going to follow the plan and I'm going to get to the destination and that's it. It's going to be boring. This is who I'm going to be. And it's just, wearing the jacket with the patches on the elbows. And it's just, I don't want to be that person all the time. Like I understand, like I should be that person, that it's pragmatic to become that person, but I also have passion and interest. I also want to do the thing. I want to be the dancer that dances, not the dancer that just teaches dancing. Teach other people how to do it. Well, why can't we be both? And why can't we say that, look, by going out there and living life and doing the thing, eventually I will grow into the person that can teach. You can't teach it unless you've lived it, At least you can't be a good teacher unless you've lived the thing, I wouldn't want to learn jujitsu from somebody that has never been on the mat, has only read about it in books, right? I wouldn't want to learn, how to fly a plane from somebody that's only read about it or only been in simulators. You got to live it, And so I feel like you're kind of going down both of these paths at the same time. We're embracing both of these. And it's kind of like we're afraid to become the Hierophant because we see it as just like somebody who's a has-been or never was, right? And that all I can do is teach because I can't do. And that's the old cliche, those who can't do, teach. Well, I think only those that have done can teach. That's my motto, right? And so by having this fear, the fear of becoming this kind of, person, may be limiting us, right? Because we're kind of like, we're afraid to really step in that official capacity and become the expert at something, or to realize that we're building up that experience, and it's okay to want to have these practical goals or material goals or whatever you want to call it. The next card is position 10, the Destiny. It's an event, shows the final outcome of the journey, the projected culmination of your quest. The external events that shape your transformation, and it's the card of failure. It's the card of kind of not having everything we want to have. And it's kind of the card that says, when I'm out here having the experience. So these external events are shaping your transformation, because this is somebody now that's out there doing the thing. This is the person that's doing jujitsu and getting the experience, and then so they've earned their right to sort of teach it, you know. I don't know that you're literally becoming a teacher, but to me it kind of feels like a blending of the passion and the practical. See, the number 7 is always related to Venus, and Venus is that card of passion, right? And love and desire, and of course we have the Pentacles, which is the practical life. So ultimately I feel that this is a synthesis of everything that we've been talking about. This is us taking a risk, doing the practical life and the passionate life, and realizing that maybe there is a convergence here. Maybe that we're getting such a rich experience of life that our future really is significant. It's big. It's a big deal. This is us getting the experience. You're going to become good at jiu-jitsu. You're going to become the expert at jiu-jitsu because you're going to get thrown down on the mat a lot, right? Indiana Jones is so great. Dr. Jones is so great at being a professor, and Indiana Jones is so good at being the adventurer because of how many struggles he's had. I mean, that guy gets beat up in every movie, right? And so it is through those challenges of life, the obstacles are the way to the fulfillment of our potential, the satisfaction with our lives. And so by going out there and facing those challenges, we're gaining that experience, gaining that wisdom that I think is very important. You're earning the right to teach whatever this is, whether it has anything to do with education or not. The courage to sort of to pursue the practical goals and the passionate goals, and maybe this is about you working on combining the two. Eventually, slowly, over time, finding a way to combine the two, the passion and the practical, getting paid for what you love. Yeah, I think so. Let's look at the mystery card, position 11. This is the guide. It's a character card. And reveals your higher self, your inner teacher, and your deepest wisdom. It shows the character qualities you must develop to walk the path ahead. What is this going to be? I kind of want to see something of a synthesis. I want to see like the art or temperance card. I want to see maybe the high priestess, maybe the empress, I think would be good. That would be that kind of blend of Venus and Earth energy too, right? The empress. Because I kind of feel like that might be it. Might be the universe card. Let's see what we have. It's a Knight of Wands. Fire on fire. This to me could be also a blending of the practical and the passionate, right? We think of the Knight as being the mature kind of person. We see the the human, the conscious person, and we see the horse as being the instinctual, that kind of just the passionate, just the kind of the raw motivation and creative energy. So this is kind of a blend. The horse and the rider are becoming one, right? And so this is about us really taking a chance and taking a risk. So this is the voice of your soul's truth that says, let's take a risk on this passion, and let's over time develop this into something that can pay the bills also. Let's try to merge together the passionate and the practical aspects of our lives. For now, maybe they're separated, but maybe we will see moments where we understand that, hey, yeah, this could work. And maybe it's going to take time for us to develop and refine all of that. The wisdom here is that we kind of need both. And both we have to work symbiotically with our passions, right? Our practical life and our passionate life have to feed each other and support each other until maybe one day they can really truly be united as one entity, kind of becoming the centaur or something, right? So I like this. I think this is good. This is also, like I said, the card of taking a risk, jumping into something, going after it, directing your attention in a particular direction, not like the Eight of Wands that says, I can't decide what I want to do. This is us now picking a path and going in that direction, because that's the only way we're going to get the success and the satisfaction out of life, not by sitting here tap dancing, but by choosing the direction or two that we need to go and taking action. Yeah, I think this is This is a really, really strong confirmation. Now, please let the lessons of these 11 stations settle into your heart. Each card is a mirror. Each station is a temple of transformation. Remember that the tarot does not dictate your future. It reveals the patterns of possibilities. It invites you to co-create your destiny. If this reading has illuminated your path in any way, please share your reflections down below in the comments. Okay. Together we travel onward, ever upward, ever inward. And we're going to do an extended reading as well. We'll do an I Ching hexagram. We'll do some oracle cards. There is a link in the corner. There's a link down below in the video description. New readings for Aquarius Thursdays and Sundays. Be sure to watch both readings. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.